Trevin McNicol is an estimator and project manager for Garion Construction. Trevin, can you tell us a little bit about what is a project manager?
So it'd be kind of the administration or management side of construction projects, essentially. So I'm not a carpenter. I do go on site, but it's not to build per se, but more to oversee and organize. I would sort of be the connection between the crew, our subcontractors, and the owner or consultants. So basically, making sure the work gets done, but also maintaining the communication on scheduling and some of those other aspects, I guess, that are very critical in the flow of a project. So that would be the majority of my role. That you also mentioned the estimating. So we're not a large firm. A very large construction company may have sort of divisions that would be solely estimating or project managing. We're not that size, so we kind of have a bit of a blended role. So I also do the estimating, which should be receiving a set of drawings and specs and going through that to find all the components, all the sub-trades, the material, the labor involved, putting that all together to finalize a price. It could be something privately to a customer, or it could be a public tender, but just to try to be successful in that. And I guess if that happens, then my next part of my role as project manager would begin.
That's great. Thank you. So I guess for students to have an understanding and how you get to where you are. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey? How did you end up where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing this for 15 years. So since 2008. And it was through NSCC. I took the Construction Administration Technology. It was the CAT or CAT program at the time. I think now it goes by CMT, Construction Management Technology. But basically, it's as I sort of described. It's that management administration side of a construction project. I remember when I was there, they said that the course was put together from input from contractors because they needed people for these roles. So they've provided that input to best prepare the grads for kind of what you would need coming into work. And I felt like it was exactly that. It gave a real good base. I found the program was very applicable. It wasn't just sort of a generic thing that you're kind of wondering, am I going to need this or why am I learning? It was very good that way, and it was 2 years. So yeah, you come out with a very good base to, get into the industry basically.
That's
And
great.
I guess just further to that,
Yeah, please.
that I did do that right out of high school. So I wasn't sure at the time. I guess in high school I took sciences, I took some advanced maths. I was wasn't sure really what I wanted to do, but kind of prepared to maybe apply. Hoping something would maybe come to me, but I never really knew. I was sort of uncertain. But my father had started a construction company. I guess at that time it would have been maybe 15 to 20 years kind of prior, like, at my high school time. And he said, there's work here if you think it's something you want to do. And I wasn't sure. And, I'd seen he was a carpenter, started as that, got his red seal, and then went on to grow the company. So his role naturally changed to more of the owner manager versus on-site stuff. But, I seen what he was able to accomplish. And I thought, this course is only 2 years. I'll get to work. And, I grew up around construction, so it wasn't anything new. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go, and still here now.
That's fabulous. That's great. Anna, do you have a question for Trevin?
Yeah, I was wondering, I know you were saying you went into school to start this program. I'm just wondering, like, what made you think that was a great fit for you, and maybe what other skills did you possess that you were like, yes, this is the right fit for me?
Well, I guess obviously the connection to the family business part of it was a factor. Not everyone might have that, but I guess I liked math. I was always interested in kind of how things worked because a lot of my work is numbers, whether it's prices or figuring out quantities of materials or so the math part of it was a fit for me, and just kind of being involved in construction. Not so much as the carpenter, but still, very involved. So it just sort of just kind of seemed like a fit, and it was like it was worth trying, and yeah, I just grew right into the role, and it's been good since.
Thank you. That's super interesting.
I know that you're super busy these days. I mean, the demand for in construction in all aspects of the field is huge. Can you talk a little bit about what the day to day looks like for you, and like how many hours are you putting in, and what do you actually do, when you go to work?
Mhm. Yeah, so I guess sort of because I have the two roles, we'll say, but if it's the estimating, that's usually more of like a short-term thing. You're focusing on pricing something. So that kind of comes and goes because it takes a lot longer to do a project than to price one, right? So the pricing part of it is just that, as I described, figuring it all out, kind of coming up with our number. The project management is more where most of my time would be spent. So a regular day, I'm mostly in the office, just trying to keep up, right? But I do go to the sites. But a regular day would involve, communicating with our crews, our subcontractors, regarding schedule a lot, just to keep things going. And we do employ carpenters, so we always want to keep them. We don't want anything that holds them back from working, right? So it's always to kind of keep that moving. On larger projects, there's the part where you're kind of like I mentioned, sort of the liaison between the on-site and kind of the owner's consultant. So like that would involve like being a part of project meetings, typically chairing them, going through all the submittal processes of providing all the information for review before we start construction. So there's a lot of that, preparing construction schedules, any changes that might come up. Typically, the customer would like to know what it will cost before proceeding. So that's kind of where a lot of my time would be spent. But then I guess to be able to do that, it comes back to talking with our crews daily, multiple times a day, and the subtrade. So it's like your hands right on the pulse of the project. So you know what's an issue today, what could be an issue down the road. You're trying to always just stay ahead, but that's mostly what it is. It's you're very involved with kind of all aspects, we'll say.
That's great. Thank you. Anna, did you have another question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's any advice you might give to a student if they're starting to think they're interested in this kind of skilled trade. I know you said there's a lot of demand out there right now, a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
construction happening around Nova Scotia. So just wondering about that.
Yeah, I think if I think there is good demand. I know when I graduated in 2008, I think all the grads had work basically lined up as we graduated, and construction's been busy since, and especially the last few years, it's just really boomed. So I think there is demand for the positions. I think if someone's uncertain, maybe and they're in the junior high school age, it would be to maybe try the co-op programs just to see the different trades, because our company's carpentry, so it's more that, but there's electrical, plumbing, there's everything. So if you can kind of test some of them out, see what you think's a fit, and or maybe through some summer jobs, that kind of stuff, and if there's something there you like, if you like construction and you're interested, just kind of see what part of it you like. And if it's not the hands-on, there is roles kind of like mine where it's the management, or there's also the design side. You can be an engineer technician who would design these projects that we would build, right? So there's a lot of different components to construction. It's not so much the the on the site kind of thing, like the trade itself, which I mean is extremely valuable, but it all has to come together to make it work.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great answer.
That's great, Trevin. Well, I think we do have a question in the chat. I'm just going to
Mhm.
go. Thank you, Adam, for the question. How does somebody become a project manager? Where do you start, and what are the steps along the way?
Okay, I would recommend it would be the CMT, Construction Management Technology course through NSCC. I think it's offered in Dartmouth. It was at the Waterfront campus when I was there. I don't know if that's still the case, but I would recommend that. Probably, depending on where you live, could be a factor. I think in the city, there's many more contractors, probably many more positions. If you're more in a rural area, there might be limited companies to work for. But I think reaching out to some of them, because if they're busy like everybody is and they're trying to grow or trying to meet the demand, they might have a spot to take in, and then with the course would really give you something. Unless you came from a trade itself, like if you were a carpenter and you've done this for a while, I think you could quickly pick it up because you understand kind of materials and productivity and those sorts of things. But if you're sort of coming in without it, the 2-year course at NSCC would be a great start.
That's
And I
right.
believe, just to add to that, I think the requirement was a high school diploma, grade 12 math, and maybe a physics 11. That's what it was at the time when I took it.
That's important information to know as well. A couple other questions here for you, Trevin. What is the most demanding part of your job?
The most demanding, it's probably just trying to stay ahead. I feel like a lot of information kind of comes through me, and just staying ahead to not delay anyone, I guess, further down the chain, we'll say. So if we need an answer on something, or if we need to get a price out to know if we're proceeding, so that can be demanding, or sometimes almost like a time crunch kind of. You got to try to get everything in to not hold it up. But it's not always like that, right? If you're always discussing, communication goes a long way. So if you're always communicating with your clients and your team, typically these things will come up in time. So usually it can work out, but like anything in life, there's things that happen or surprise you. So it's sometimes maybe just operating under time, I guess, could be the demanding part.
Yeah, that's great. Mr. Connolly shared that at the Ivany campus, it's a 2-year program. You need academic 12 math and grade 11 physics. So
Okay, right on.
The teachers know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get those courses under your belt. Ms. Creaser has a question. How many hours do you typically work in a week?
Well, I would say probably 45, sometimes more, but it's a little different being the family business aspect of it too, because that comes with, a little more of a management role within our company too. So sometimes the hours can spill into that. But I would say if you're strictly project managing, 40 to 45 would probably be the norm. I mean, with smartphones nowadays, everyone's always connected. It's not necessarily needed, but you're always sort of in touch. But the working time could be something like in the 40 to 45 range.
Thank you. And Anna, do you have a final question for Trevin? And we'll see if there's any final questions from the teachers and students.
Yeah, I guess to wrap it up, I'm wondering, what is the part that you enjoy most about your job?
I generally like it all, but I think the part I would like the most, or that always seems to be the most rewarding, is just working with people who share a goal to get a project done. So, there on a large project, there could be 20 different people that you're seeing and talking with, and everyone's got that same goal. So, you meet a lot of people, and it is fun to work with others. And, sometimes things can be difficult, but usually everyone's got that same goal to get the project done. And, once it's finished, generally, like I'm thinking of a new build, let's just say, that's there for a long time, like, a lifetime or more. So it's always something you'll see and remember that you were a big part of it. And there's maybe sort of like a lasting kind of reward there too. I know with my kids, I'm already pointing out, oh, hey, we did that and we're working here. So, it just, it's a good feeling. And usually at the end of it, you're turning over something to a customer. It could be their dream home. It could be their new expansion to their business, and they're excited about it. So, at the end of it all, it's usually quite rewarding and it's to deliver that good service to our customers and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be so rewarding just to see it all come together, especially as a part of a big team. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Trevin. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for waiting. We're a little bit behind schedule, but we do appreciate your time, and we hope that we'll see you again with JA Nova Scotia. We know this is your first volunteer opportunity with us, and we've certainly enjoyed having you here today.
Okay, thank you very much.